Jack Clarke, mate. This is one that I'm very excited about. I've said quite a few times on it. I even said, I think, don't bother with Sammy Swaddock. Just heap all your money on the Jack Clarke train. And it looks like they're going to end up with both, mate.
Yeah. We keep finding these little points, reference points in time as a reminder of how far Ipswich have come in such a short space of time. It's only a year ago that Ipswich stepped up from League One to the Championship, and their opening game was Sunderland away.
Mm.
And Alex will provide more insight on this because I wasn't able to make that one, but Ipswich were clinging on at the end, got the win, and I remember people coming away sort of going, "Oh, that's the level of the Championship. That's what we're up against." And Jack Clarke, he's a player. And 1 year later, Ipswich have signed him. Well, on the verge of signing him as we sit here speaking now. So it's a hell of a deal. Mark Ashton has worked his magic again. As we saw with the Sammy Szmodics deal, that they will hold firm. They won't pay over the odds. Yes, there's a bit of money flying about at the moment, but they're trying to get good value. And I think they certainly have done with Jack Clarke at £15 million. It is, as widely reported, 15 million with the potential to reach 20. But there are add-ons and there are add-ons. And from what I gather, some of them are wholly unlikely going forwards. Probably about 3 million of those add-ons is realistic. That will be things like, Golden Boot winner in the Premier League, stuff like that. That I think Sunderland may be wanting to make the fee look as big as possible because their fans, if you have a look on Twitter at the moment, are not happy that their star man has gone for as little as we believe it to be.
Yeah, we actually have a Sunderland fan in the kind of the conference team every morning. Our deputy editor Reese is a big Mackham, and he was fairly upset. I think it's fair to say this morning that Jack Clarke is on his way to Ipswich. How big of a move is this for Town, AJ, in terms of Clarke as a player? I think we all said at various times that we all admire him as a player, and he has significant potential to be a bit of a star. How good of a move is this, do you reckon, for Town?
What have you always called him again? In a lot
saggy socked wing wizard, alliteration all over the place, and that's basically what he is, though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only doubts I've ever had not in terms of him as a player, but in terms of him being the McKenna player, was the fact he's very much the left-sided winger. When you look at everything else, he ticks every single box going in terms of his dribbling, the ball progression, the finishing. I mean, you guys have seen the goal he scored against Town in January. I've been watching that a few times over because the way he smacks that, the power he gets on it is unbelievable. And he's got quite a strong highlight reel of those kind of finishes. He gets goals, gets assists. There was an interesting bit that his agent Ian Hart put out the other day where actually in terms of goals and assists since the start of the 22-23 season, Jack Clarke tops at 43 goal contributions. Second to that, Sammy Szmodics with 40. So you're seeing here that they're getting the best players from the level and bringing them up. That is a risk. It always will be. But when you know how highly Jack Clarke is regarded, a lot of people thinking he's going to get maybe a move to a more established Premier League club. We'd seen West Ham linked. We've seen some teams that have been in and around Europe linked before. This is a player who moved to Tottenham from Leeds a few years back for, I think it was about 10 million at the time as well. He's got a lot already behind him. He ticks so many of the boxes. I love the way that he links up with his left back at Sunderland with Dennis Serkin, bringing the best out of Leif Davis there as well. Just feels like they're building. You can't necessarily say in Premier League terms as a super team. It feels a bit like a Championship super team, but the way that can transition into the Premier League is so exciting, and bringing in one of the top players for a fee that seems really low, I'd say. I think we could all agree on. Yeah, it takes you back a bit, doesn't it? So it comes as a bit of a surprise that even Town can get a deal like that done for 15 million plus add-ons.